Doctor Who Revenge of the Cybermen, the fifth story of the fourth Doctor, is written by Gerry Davis and Robert Holmes and starring Tom Baker, Elizabeth Sladen and Ian Marter. So the title was going to be Return of the Cybermen and then Return to Revenge, as Robert Holmes added Vogan story. Because Philip Hinchcliffe was new to the show and Tom Baker was the new Doctor, he wanted to play it safe by adding old monsters like Cybermen and Daleks for the first season. Robert Holmes made the story more emotional than what Gerry Davis wanted, and he wasn't happy with the title Revenge of the Cybermen, which, fair enough, so they reused the set from the Ark in Space, Nerva Beacon, because of the budget and blaming it on Curse. They shot a lot of scenes in Wookiee Hole Caves. Michael E. Bryant, director of the story, said the spirit of a potholer who had died in the caves 3 years earlier. The assistant floor manager suffered claustrophobia in the scene where Sarah Jane Smith stepped off the boat. If it wasn't for Terry Walsh, Elizabeth Sladen would have drowned, as she wore heavy boots when she got on the water in that scene. The programme's longtime stuntman both required precautionary vaccinations at a local hospital but didn't get hurt. The boat disappeared and was never seen again. A crew member was ill and an electrician had a broken leg. My God. William Hartnell sadly passed away 4 days after Part 1 came out. As the Cybermen last appeared in The Invasion, they sort of reused that design, but it was in bad condition, so they differentiate it a bit, which included chest panels constructed from the innards of an old television set, and trousers which, for the first time since the moon base, were not tucked into the cyber boots. Michael E. Bryant, the director, opted to put the characters on the Nerva Beacon into contemporary clothing and have them use modern machine guns rather than attempt to depict the future through fashion. So the story begins with the Doctor, Sarah Jane and Harry arrive back at Nerva Beacon with the time ring, which is pretty effective. The time they're in is thousands of years before the Ark in Space. It's funny, when the Doctor knew the time ring was going to disappear, even he said to Harry, keep it. So the TARDIS team found quite a few corpses in the corridor, pretty unsettling. After Cyberman came into Warner and bit him, which infected him to death, the TARDIS arrived in the room. Commander Stevenson and Lester found them. Kelman claimed to found Warner. Stevenson let the Doctor help Warner, but it was too late as he died. So Kelman records the conversation as they mentioned Voga. The Doctor remembered the Cybermen and suspecting that Kelman is working for them. So as the Doctor goes inside Kelman's bedroom, he hid under the bed, but Kelman knows he's there. So he turns the power on and left with gas spraying and electric shock on the floor. Pretty cool when the Doctor jumped on the bed. And I loved his line when he said, I smell a rat. Cybermat jumped on Sarah Jane, which infected her. After the Doctor got out, he came to help Sarah Jane, so he got Harry to take himself with Sarah Jane to Planet Voga, Planet of Gold. Sounds nice. So the Doctor, Stevenson, Lester stopped Kelman. It's nicely done the way Lester jumped on him. It's nicely done when the Doctor managed to scare Kelman by controlling a cybermat by moving it towards him. So after Sarah Jane and Harry gets captured by Vogans, they get questioned by Vorus, because Vorus doesn't believe them. He gets them tied up, and it looked painful when Sarah Jane and Harry tried to get their foot out the golden chain. As they make a run for it, they get captured again, but rescued by Shepra. The Cybermen ship flew to Nerva Beacon. They stung Stevenson and Lester, then the Doctor. Taking over the beacon.
All resistance overcome. The beacon is ours.
Yeah, just take it. It's rubbish. I'm joking. I don't think it's rubbish. Again, Tom Baker is fantastic as the fourth Doctor. More than words can say. The script was modified as production developed to incorporate Tom Baker's style, and also had to be rewritten to modify how writer Gerry Davis had envisionated the new Doctor as more timid, reversed figure, much in the manner of Patrick Troughton, which happened to be rather unlike Tom Baker's portrayal. Elizabeth Sladen, Ian Marter, Sarah Jane Smith and Harry Sullivan. Amazing, very likeable companions. I do love those TARDIS team, and I do like the reuse of Cybermen from The Invasion, even though it's a little bit different, but they're pretty menacing. Vogans are the races from Voga, planet made of gold, and there's 2 different races of Vogan, which is cool. I wonder how they're connected to Gallifrey because of Rastalon logo. and I hope they bring them back. Ronald Lee Hunt played Commander Stevenson, who's in charge of Nova Beacon. William Marlowe played Bill Lester, a crew member. Alec Wallace played Warner, a technician who's responsible for redirecting Pluto Earth Flight 15 from doing a dropover on the Nova Beacon. Jeremy Wilkin played Kelman, who's working for the Cybermen. Kevin Stoney played Tyrum, the leader of the Vogans. Michael Wisher, who played Davros in the previous story, played McGrick, a Vogan Guardian. David Collins played Vorus, a Guardian leader. Brian Grelis played Shepra, an officer. The casts did a great job. The sets and effects is great. The music by Carrie Blyton and Peter Howell is pretty catchy. The masks for the principal actors playing the Vogans were specially modelled to their faces, but for the non-speaking artists, the BBC had to cut costs. David Collins said on the DVD commentary, who played Vorus, like I said, the masks for the extras were made using a facial mould of Dad's army star Arnold Ridley. The secret radio transmitter disguised as a clothes brush was a prop that was used in Live and Let Die, Roger Moore's first James Bond film. The prop was handed over by a James Bond actor, Roger Moore, when he visited the BBC in 1973. He later told the Radio Times that the prop's master, not recognising Moore, had paid him 2 shillings and 6 pence for the item. He said, and I quote, "I popped into the Beep for a cup of tea and spotted a notice about an upcoming Doctor Who. So I thought the darlings would be so cash-strapped they need anything they could get their hands on. It wasn't MGM after all. But I didn't expect to walk out with 2 and 6. So while Kelman takes the bag of jelly babies and apple core out of the Doctor's pocket, he teleported to Voga to speak to Vorus, but he gets taken away to warn them on what's happening with the planet. And we get a great line when the Doctor called the Cybermen pathetic bunch of tin soldiers skulking around the galaxy in an ancient spaceship. So the Doctor, Stevenson and Lester get strapped on cyber bombs as they plan to blow up Voga. A couple of Cybermen are brave enough to go down to Voga, the fact that gold is poisonous to them. If they unstrap themselves, it blows them up. After teleported Voga, we get a great battle scenes. After patrolling through the cave, rocks falling, knocking the Doctor out, Harry was about to undo the strap. And I was like, whoa! But luckily Lester was there to stop him, and it was pretty funny when the Doctor was like, Harry Sullivan is an imbecile, and then passed out.
Harry Sullivan is an imbecile!
Oh, you gotta love Tom Baker. The bit where the Doctor and Harry wrestles on Cybermen is entertaining and nicely done. Because they're too strong to be killed by gold, Lester jumped in front of them and undid the straps, which caused the explosion to kill himself and the Cybermen. So eventually Sarah Jane teleports herself back on Beacon and gets caught by Cybermen. So the Doctor plans to go back to Beacon, which she did after Cybermen left, to watch the explosion in safer distance. The Doctor unties Sarah Jane, and I love the whistling bit. So after he used the Cybermat against the Cybermen, Beacon is heading straight for Voga, so the Doctor managed to stop Beacon from crashing into Voga. The effects works pretty effectively, and the missile blowing up Cybermen's spaceship. So after Harry came back, the TARDIS appeared. The Doctor got a telegram from the Brigadier that he needed him. So the TARDIS team went in, the TARDIS dematerialised, even though Harry wanted to say goodbye, but they left in a hurry. So, that's Revenge of the Cybermen. It has great ideas and definitely watchable. And the end of season 12, and I think this is the first classic season to be released on those Blu-ray box sets, which is awesome. The idea of getting a classic season box set with remastered effects behind the sofa, behind the scenes, surround sounds, special features, deleted scenes and everything. It's also great that Tom Baker telling us to don't forget to subscribe to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel.
Somebody just passed me this and says, don't forget to subscribe to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel. Well, how could I possibly forget that? For goodness sake. You got the message, haven't you? Don't forget. Doctor Who YouTube channel. Now.
So, what did you guys think of Revenge of the Cybermen and Season 12? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks as always for watching, and see you in the next video.